After the end of the ICC World T20 has just gotten bigger and better. The Ashes schedule in England has been announced, along with the venue for the ICC World Test Championship final. Remember, for the first time this is the season of firsts in England, and clearly a window has been given for one particular format of the game. 2023 will see plenty of new things, and it begins with the Ashes, the World Test Championship and the 100. So, the England and Wales Cricket Board along with the ICC have finally confirmed that the 2023 ICC World Test Championship final will be held at the Oval. The 2025 edition of the World Test Championship will be held at Lord's. Remember, 2021 was scheduled to be held. The ICC World Test Championship final was scheduled to be held at Lord's. But due to the coronavirus situation, it was held at Southampton. And you saw New Zealand win the ICC World Test Championship for the very first time. So, the 2023 WTC final to be held at the Oval, 2025 final at Lord's. But at the same time, you have seen that the Ashes schedule has been announced, and remarkably, the men's Ashes will be held in June for the first time in a very long time. And women's Ashes also sees a big first. It will be the first time that a 5-day test will be held in England for the women. Remember, the women's Ashes have seen only 4-day tests. Here in 2023, you will see a 5-day test. So why did the ICC say that the Oval will host the World Test Championship final and the Lord's one will host in 2025? Well, simple. The Oval has a rich legacy and an amazing atmosphere. This is what ICC Chief Executive Jeff Allardyce had to say. 2025 final to Lord's will provide a fitting backdrop. So, two World Test Championship Finals edition. Both will be held in London, one at the Oval and across the Thames at Lord's in 2023 and 2025. So, this is the Ashes 2023 schedule. The first test will be held at Edgbaston on June 16th. When was the last time, folks, you remember that an Ashes test in England was held in June? It's traditionally been held around July, August, right? Well, this time in just 46 days, June and July will see the Ashes test. And it's the first time in 25 years, folks, that England will host a men's Ashes test in June. The last time they held it was in 1997 when Australia won 3-2. The series was held in June, and that was a 6-test series. But if you look at it from 1997 all the way till the 1980s, 70s, 60s, 50s, the 30s and the 20s, England's Ashes tests were held in June. Towards the 1910 period, it was held in May. 5 times it was held in May. But in June, it's making a comeback to the Ashes after 25 to 26 years. First test will be at Edgbaston, June 16th. Second test will be at Lord's on June 28th. Third test will be in July 6th in Leeds. Fourth test will be on July 19th in Manchester. And the final test will be held at the Oval on July 27. Now, when will the ICC World Test Championship final take place? It is presumed that it will be held somewhere around June 6th or June 8th. Because England and Ireland will play one test in June. That is July 1 to July 5. June 1 to June 5. So, after that, potentially on June 8th, you may see the World Test Championship final. Who makes it? Australia, South Africa, India or Pakistan? It remains to be seen. Australia are ahead in the World Test Championship cycle, whereas South Africa are second, Pakistan are third. India will be wanting to creep up to second with 2 series against Bangladesh and Australia. Now, women's cricket also has a pretty packed schedule. Remember, women's Ashes will have 1 test, 3 ODIs and equal number of T20Is. The Ashes is determined on a points system. It is not determined on who wins the test or who wins the ODIs or who wins the T20Is. It's a combination of all the series points which will ensure which team has the Ashes. England will play 3 T20Is and an ODI versus Sri Lanka. This is the first time since 2017 that Sri Lanka are touring England, the women's team. On the other hand, this is the first time, remarkably, that a bilateral series will be held between Sri Lanka and England in England. England have toured Sri Lanka on multiple occasions, but Sri Lanka have never toured England for a bilateral series. However, they did play the 2017 ICC Women's World Cup. Now, this schedule has seen some very, very interesting changes. No international games until August 30th. Entire August will be devoted for the 100. Both the men's and the women's 100 will be held in that period of August, from August 1 to August 29. From August 30th onwards, New Zealand will play 4 T20Is and 4 ODIs against England. Ireland, who have played a test in June, returned to England in September for 3 ODIs. Look at the gap between a test and an ODI series. Close to 3 months. In fact, more than 3 months. So that is the schedule for England in this summer. And remember, very important summer, because the Ashes is going to be held there and the World Test Championship final, even for 2023 and 2025, will be held at both the venues. Now, what is England's schedule now and after the ICC World T20? Even that was finalized today. England, in addition to the 7 T20Is that they're going to play against Pakistan, they are going to play Australia in 3 T20Is before the T20 World Cup. And that is why you see in the warm-up schedule, England just has 1 game, and that is against Pakistan. Pakistan also has only 1 warm-up game because they're going to play a tri-series in New Zealand, also involving Bangladesh. So, matches will be held on October 9th, 12th and 14th for England, and will be held at Perth, and 2 matches will be held at the Manuka Oval in Canberra. Then after the T20 World Cup, 3 ODIs will be held in Australia between England. So, England and Australia after the T20 World Cup will square off in 3 ODIs. And one of the venues is slated to be Adelaide. So, this is England's schedule and before and after the T20 World Cup. So, 3 main points. First time in 25 years, you're going to see England host an Ashes men's test in June. The women's team will have a 5-day test for the first time. The World Test Championship finals will be at the Oval and Lords in 2023 and 2025. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates from Sports Today. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, folks.